still can't manage to save money at the end of the month? Then this video is for you. Ana and Pedro were like many couples living paycheck to paycheck. They worked hard, paid their bills, and occasionally allowed themselves a treat, but at the end of every month, they found themselves asking the same painful question: where did all our money go? Their dream of traveling the world or retiring early seemed as distant as the stars. They didn't live a lavish life, but somehow, they were always broke. It all started to change one night after a heated argument about finances. Pedro looked at Ana and said, "We can't keep living like this, working endlessly, just to survive." And in that moment, a new vision was born. They made a bold decision to completely change their spending habits, save aggressively, and invest wisely so they could retire early and travel the world, free from financial stress. But let's be real, dreaming is easy. Changing your financial life takes real guts and commitment. Ana and Pedro knew that. That's why they began by facing a hard truth: they had no idea where their money was actually going. So they sat down, opened a spreadsheet, and started tracking every dollar. They listed their income, fixed expenses, debt, and daily purchases. It was eye-opening. Coffee runs, food delivery, random subscriptions, shopping out of boredom, all these small, harmless expenses added up to hundreds each month. They weren't poor, they were just financially unorganized. For the first time, Ana and Pedro had a clear picture of their money. And that clarity gave them a sense of control they had never felt before. With renewed motivation, they set a goal: eliminate all consumer debt within 1 year, and save at least 30% of their income every month. They weren't just budgeting, they were building a mission. Every dollar they saved wasn't just money, it was a step closer to their dream life. A life where they'd wake up in a new country, not in the same office cubicle. A life filled with memories, not receipts. If you've ever felt stuck financially, know this: your future can change. It starts with facing where you are today. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how Ana and Pedro built their step-by-step plan and how you can too. With their finances laid bare, Ana and Pedro knew they needed a plan, a real, actionable strategy built on 3 solid pillars: cutting expenses, boosting income, and investing consistently. They started with their spending. Using the 50-30-20 rule as a guide, they adjusted their budget so that 50% went to essentials like rent, groceries, and bills, 30% to savings and investments, and just 20% to leisure. Over time, they became so efficient that they were saving more than 45% of their income every month. Yes, nearly half, but how? It all came down to choices. They canceled unused subscriptions, ditched food delivery, and cooked at home. Date nights became walks in the park or movie nights with homemade popcorn. They sold their second car and switched to bikes and public transport. They even moved into a smaller apartment to save on rent. None of it felt like sacrifice. It was simply trading convenience for freedom. But Ana and Pedro didn't stop there. They knew saving alone wouldn't get them to their dream fast enough. So they looked for ways to increase their income. Ana had a passion for baking, so she started selling cakes from home. Pedro, who loved video editing, picked up freelance gigs on weekends. Every extra dollar they earned went directly into investments. No splurging. No exceptions. And here's where everything changed. They became obsessed with learning how to make their money grow. They devoured books, YouTube videos, podcasts, and free courses. They learned about index funds, REITs, dividend stocks, and compound interest. But most importantly, they learned that every dollar invested today could mean days of freedom tomorrow. They opened a brokerage account and set up automated transfers. Their investment portfolio was diversified across stocks, bonds, and real estate funds. They treated their investments like a non-negotiable bill. Pay yourself first, that became their mantra. What made the biggest difference wasn't just the money, it was the mindset. Ana and Pedro stopped asking, "Can we afford this?" and started asking, "Is this helping us retire early?" Every choice they made, from shopping habits to social plans, was filtered through that lens. And slowly but surely, their bank balance started to reflect their new priorities. Their emergency fund grew. Their investments started to earn passive income. Their lives began to change, but it wasn't always easy. In the next part, we'll explore the emotional roller coaster of this journey, the doubts, the temptations, and how they stayed on track when quitting seemed easier. The road to Early retirement wasn't paved with gold, it was paved with resistance, sacrifice, and doubt. Ana and Pedro quickly learned that the hardest part of financial freedom isn't the math, it's the mindset. The truth, saving money and investing is easy. Sticking to it when life gets in the way, that's where most people fail. There were nights they wanted to give up. Friends invited them on expensive vacations. Instagram showed them luxury lifestyles they couldn't afford. Family questioned why they were acting poor when they had good jobs. Ana sometimes cried herself to sleep, overwhelmed by the pressure to be normal. Pedro had moments where he wanted to dip into their savings just to feel rewarded, but then they'd open their financial dashboard and see the numbers growing. That was their reward. Every month they tracked their net worth, their investment returns, and their progress toward financial independence. Seeing that graph climb gave them something more powerful than instant gratification: hope. One of their smartest moves was breaking their journey into milestones. Instead of focusing only on retirement 10 years away, they celebrated smaller wins, like hitting $10,000 in savings, or their first $1,000 in dividends, or becoming debt-free. These micro successes gave them momentum to keep going. They also created a vision board, a collage of the life they were working toward. Photos of beaches, foreign cities, backpacks, mountain hikes. Every time temptation struck, they looked at that board and remembered why they started. But they didn't walk the path alone. Ana and Pedro joined online communities like Fire Financial Independence, Retire Early forums, minimalist Facebook groups, and subreddits focused on frugal living. Talking to others on the same journey gave them not only support but accountability. They also made rules for themselves. For example, a 48-hour rule before any purchase over $100. They asked questions like, do we need this, or do we just want a quick dopamine hit? That rule alone helped them avoid dozens of unnecessary expenses. One of their best strategies, turning savings into a game. Every month, they competed to see who could save more by being creative. Pedro once fixed their broken fan instead of replacing it, while Ana negotiated a lower internet bill just by calling customer service. These habits didn't just help them retire early, they changed who Ana and Pedro were. They went from impulsive consumers to intentional creators of their future. And now, that future was finally here. 10 years after that painful night when they decided to change everything, Ana and Pedro woke up in a small Airbnb in Lisbon, Portugal. The window was open, letting in the smell of fresh bread and the distant sound of morning waves. They looked at each other, smiled, and whispered the words they had dreamed of for years. We made it. They were officially retired at 41 and 43 years old. No more alarms. No more traffic. No more begging for time off. Ana and Pedro were now full-time travelers, moving through countries slowly, savoring cultures, tasting foods they had only seen on TV, and waking up with zero stress about money. How? Because their investments now paid them more than their jobs ever did. Dividends from stocks, income from REITs, and a few side hustles they built along the way provided passive income that covered all their living expenses. And guess what? They weren't rich in the traditional sense. They didn't win the lottery. They just made smart, consistent choices every single month and stuck to the plan, even when it was hard. Ana started a blog sharing their story, inspiring others to pursue financial freedom. Pedro launched a YouTube channel teaching personal finance with humor and honesty. Together, they turned their early retirement into a mission to help others escape the rat race. Their life now is filled with purpose, not possessions, experiences over expenses, freedom over fear. And here's the best part. You can do it too. You don't need to earn six figures. You don't need to be a financial genius. You just need a clear goal, a solid plan, and the discipline to follow through. So let's recap. Start by tracking your money, know where every dollar goes. Create a budget and cut unnecessary expenses. Find ways to boost your income. Invest consistently, even if it's a small amount. Stay motivated by setting milestones. And surround yourself with people who support your dream. If Ana and Pedro's story lit a fire inside you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to our channel for more real-life financial transformations. Which of these tips are you already using or planning to try? Leave a comment below. And if you're ready to take the next step, watch our video on 7 things poor people do that rich people never do. It's packed with actionable insights. Your journey to financial freedom starts now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.